Oh, huh? You guys learn Mandarin too? I'm gonna finish taking some notes here. I'll go over how I'm learning, what I'm learning right now, which is yes, Mandarin Chinese. Why, hello there. I'm sure you guessed for learning, I'm studying Mandarin today, but I'm curious what you're learning. Are you learning Mandarin too? Or do you have questions about other languages? It's not just Mandarin that I like learning. I like practicing. All right. So how I tend to break down what I'm learning in any given language, whether that's Chinese, German, French, Spanish, or any other ones that I've dabbled in even, I'll break it down into a specific category of vocabulary that I want to learn. Because something that I say often and that I've written about in my books is that if you don't care about what you're learning, then you're just not going to care. So it's really important that you pick something. It's not just like which app you think is useful. It's what area will be most interesting and yes, useful to me immediately. So in this case, Chinese, in I guess research for a book that I'm writing, one of my first fiction works, I'm learning Chinese military vocabulary. But again, any category, any topic works. It could be cooking, it could be work, it could be travel, religion, whatever it is. Just pick the category. In this case, I would urge you to not underestimate the use of AI to gather sources and then check those because AI makes mistakes. They make them often. So with Mandarin Chinese, I use, and I'm not affiliated with anybody. If you use the apps or any sites that I recommend, aside from my books that I write and sell myself, I don't get paid by anything else. Pleco is an app that I would strongly recommend you guys have if you don't already for learning Mandarin Chinese. If you go on Android, and I'm positive that they're on Apple Store as well, Pleco. You'll find that it's a wonderful dictionary that gives you great, just fantastic descriptors, different use cases, example sentences. It's a wonderful application. You can also get books in there too. It's fantastic. But I'll take some of the characters that I got from AI in this case. I'll check them with the known reliable source, in this case, Pleco. And then I will make for myself my own study material. So for this one, I don't know how well you can see this, but I've got the Chinese over here. I've got the pinyin not in order because I'm making problems for myself immediately so that I can practice this. So this first one, I need to go through. It kind of helps that I see three characters. I know to look for three, something that indicates three characters in the pinyin. So that's kind of a clue for myself. It's almost cheating, but not entirely. So I recognize this first one as doi rather, because tones are important in Mandarin. Doi, jiang, ji. So I can recognize that one. And then I have the English on the far column in cursive because I like cursive, but I need to find the right pinyin and then find the right English for myself. And then that's me recognizing these just on their own, to be able to recognize and then progressively recall them, because they're not straight in a line. I'm not just going 1A, 2B. I need to remember which one's which. And it's helpful whenever you learn several characters, because you'll see repeating radicals within each, because China doesn't have an alphabet. Surprise, I know. But they do reuse a lot of features between their characters. So it helps to sometimes be able to tie that meaning and sometimes that tone, that pronunciation, to different characters based on the pieces that you see within the character. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. What I'm going to do next is, now that I have these problems, I'm going to go over here. In this case, I added helper words to kind of add more context and bring more variety to the things that I'm learning. And then I will make example sentences for myself. Something you should know about Mandarin Chinese is, I have found it to be, at least, a very formulaic language. There is no changing in the verbs. They don't conjugate anything. There are cases, as there are in like German or anything. You don't need to worry about how the characters change to meet the time that something is happening, the relation that it has to other things in the sentence or the person that's doing it, among many other things. Grammatical gender as well does not exist effectively in Mandarin. So it's a very grammatically simple language, and things kind of go together in a very predictable manner. So if you want to say that I write a book, or I speak Chinese, 我说汉语, so I speak Chinese. If I want to say I spoke Chinese, 我说了, that le after the verb indicates that it was done in the past. There, le is a very versatile character, a very versatile word. But one of the uses that it has is that you can tell that something happened previously. 我说汉语, or 中文. So I spoke Chinese. So again, that's one very small example to make the point that it's a very formulaic language. So I'm going to use those concepts that I already know to make example sentences to challenge myself to produce the things that I'm learning immediately. All right. So I've got my stuff. I've got my 10 keywords / phrases that I want to use here. So now I'm going to try to put them in context as best as I can down below. Maybe that helps you. Maybe you're doing something completely different. Or let me know, please, because maybe it'll help me or someone else. Thanks. I appreciate that. I don't know the delay on the comments that I'm seeing in the chat. So cool idea to what I described. Were you here for that, or is it something else? So today I'm focusing more on characters. I'm learning vocabulary in a specific topic, and I'm trying to put those in context for myself because I already have a little bit of a baseline in Mandarin. So I'm just kind of branching my personal interesting into a more personally interesting topic, and then making my own kind of problems instead of trying to follow this like a different book or a different video series or a different very common application or something. Thank you. Can't speak orange. Is that what you call is that what you call Mandarin? Honest question. I don't know. And I mean, if that is, then are you learning orange? Is that what you're doing right now? Realizing, oh, that might have been a typo, but I don't know, man. Tell me. Oh, yeah. So I started learning Chinese just because I always heard that it was like impossible to learn. You basically can't learn. It's so hard. Just don't even try. Don't even waste your time. And I was like, nah, no, because I thought the same thing with German, and then I learned that, and then I thought the same thing with like, oh, I can't possibly learn a third language, and then I did, and then I kind of just got carried away, and I was like, you know what, Mandarin, that's it. Also, fun fact, I tried learning Arabic before I tried learning Mandarin. Mandarin I found to be so much easier than Arabic for a variety of reasons, but I digress. Um, Part of it was just the challenge and being told like you can't, it's too hard, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I can. But also just the I like learning other countries' histories. Typically, when I learn a language, it's because I want to know more about the country and the native perspective of things. I want to understand how other people understand things, and that's in yes, like present day, like media, books, news, whatever, but also again, they're not their country's history, and not among all of those reasons. Of course, China is a very important country in the world today, so I figured it would be probably pretty worthwhile to learn at least some of their language. But yeah, yeah, I'm kind of just a curious guy. I like learning things, and like I said, I guess I kind of got carried away with languages because here I am now. It's like my the fifth foreign language that I've taken seriously. So I just like it. I guess I have a knack for it. Yeah. So you say you're not learning any other you're not learning Mandarin. Are you learning any other languages? Because a lot of people think that it's really hard, but it doesn't have to be. I think personally it's harder if you come from like me, like an American public school education background. It's not particularly good. So it's it probably seems a lot harder if that is your background, but either way, it's learning languages isn't hard. You just have to make it fun. Yeah, well done, by the way. Congratulations with graduating with honors too. Like that's impressive. That's good. But yeah, man, it's like it, language, math, science can like you can learn just about anything. You just have to do it in the right process and with the right interests. Because like I don't know if you were heard earlier, but I mentioned earlier, if you don't care about what you're learning, you're just not going to care about it. So like it's like I don't know, in high school, I'm sure there were some, like, I didn't care about economics then, but I had to take an economics course, and I was like, okay, whatever. I did decently enough because I had to be there, but I didn't retain much from that course because I didn't care at the time. But now that I'm here learning the languages that I am, I have fun with it. I read what I like, I watch what I like, I listen to things that I like. I just enjoy it. So naturally, it's going to stick more. So yeah, it's like other people saying things are difficult. They probably don't care about the things it like in person. Like, I'm sure that they care about it for you, but they think it's difficult because they just don't care about math. They care, they like that you care about math, but oh man, that's so hard. That's so difficult. Why would you do that? That sounds awful. Like, yeah, it does to them. Just like learning German and French, like wow, that's a lot of time. That's crazy. And then you do it, and then they're impressed. But yeah, it's just you care about it, and now you have fun with it. And I so I used to speak a lot more with natives, but I found that the biggest reason why I stopped is that there was a problem with me staying consistent with the people that I found. So one of the apps that I used to find native speakers was Tandem. Hello Talk was another good one, and I tried a couple of ones, but the one that I found that served me best, that worked the best for me, was Tandem. It's on Android and Apple. It's only a mobile app, I think. But anyway, I would find native speakers, and some of them rather, were very helpful. It was great. That was a wonderful practice for finding my weak spots before I ever, because like whenever you're on the spot, recall is already harder than recognition. If I see something, yeah, I can probably recognize it. But if I flip this page over, okay, what's the fifth word on there? What's the word for radio? It's like, yeah, I don't know yet. So I used to speak to native people, and then to that first part of your question, what helps me learn more efficiently with languages? At the very beginning steps, it's kind of just anything my to get my feet wet in the language. So as much as there are problems with things like Duolingo, if the language is available on it, I would use it to kind of get the very beginner stages of, oh, this is what it sounds like, this is kind of what it looks like. But then pretty quickly, once I kind of get a grasp of the sights and sounds of it at a very basic fundamental level, I'll immediately be looking for what's the most reliable dictionary, what's the most reliable grammar resource, and then I will, like I'm doing now, I'll find my own topics that I care about, and I'll just pick at the very early stages when I don't really know anything about the language. I'll just take like 3 to 5 words, and I'll try to learn those 3 to 5 words. How do they sound? How do they look? How do they sound? Can I spell them from memory? And then can I remember what they mean? And then from those nouns, verbs, whatever, I'll do what I'm doing now. I'll try to put them in a context that I care about. In this case, it's communications. So um, in this case, I already know how to say that I want something. 我想要, I want something in Mandarin Chinese. In this case, I want a radio. So I want a lot of things. In this case, radio. So now I need to remember 我想要, what's radio? And then I'll kind of practice that. And I'll think about it. This is not the only time that I'm thinking about or trying to speak or understand, in this case, Mandarin Chinese. It's not like it's always on my mind, but I'll try to remember to sound when I have a few minutes of downtime, think about it. So to give you a concise answer, What helps me learn efficiently is finding whatever's most available to get a very basic understanding of the sights and sounds of the language, and then as soon as I'm comfortable, like pretty quickly, go to reliable external resources for my own research. I'll find words and grammar, and then I'll make those in my own context in topics and whatever that I care about more personally. And then I'll learn these key things in that context after I have basically understood the sights and sounds of the language. If your goal is speaking, then naturally you're going to speak to more native people. But in this case, most of my use in any of my languages is reading. So I don't do really as much speaking. I still can in some of my languages, but most of it's just reading. So in this case, I'm going to write it out because it really does, in this case, really sets in the characters. So writing helps me with reading. And then if I want to read aloud, in the case that I do need or want to speak about this, I do want to know the opinion and how to say these things. But speaking in Mandarin for me is secondary. I will do a lot more reading, frankly. Thank you. Yeah, I could really appreciate that. I've written books about how to learn languages in general. They're all on Amazon, and that is the only way that I make money from any of this. So any tools that I ever mention, I'm not sponsored. I don't have affiliates. If I ever do, then they'll be mentioned. But for now, the only way I make money is through my books. But I've written books on this. I have a language journal that's out there. I've written a couple books on Spanish specifically, and I want to branch out to other ones. But I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Ooh, okay. This is my very first stream, so I didn't know how the audio was going to turn out. It looks like the video seems just fine. Is the video okay? And if the video is okay, I moved the microphone up a little bit. How's it? Okay, good. Thank you. So I moved the microphone up a little bit. Is it volume or is it audio quality? Hmm. Okay. So not necessarily quality, but the audio is kind of dipping down, doing highs and lows. Um, all right, I'll do some looking. I'll do some reading, see how I can fix that. Because, like I said, this is my first stream, so I didn't really know how it was going to go. I really appreciate you letting me know that. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm also traveling out and about, and normally I have a fuzzy wind cap on my microphone, so maybe that's causing it. I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't think, at least, that I'm really fluctuating my own volume. So, um, all right. I guess let's have to do some reading. Time will do it. Yeah. So, I know the feeling because I know German, French, Spanish, and I'm got diving back into Mandarin, and I really want to get back into Italian, but I'm already having a hard enough time trying to maintain mostly my French and my Spanish while also branching out in Mandarin. So it's just like, and it's where do I find the time for it? Plus, I can do a lot more because I'm out on a trip right now, so I'm not at home. When I'm at home, I have a family. Family is important, so time's a tough one. It really is. Um, if that's the case, I don't know what your commute is to work and stuff like that, or like if you go out on runs or if you work out. But whenever you do things like listen to music or podcasts or things like that, find something like easy. So if you want to learn Mandarin, easy Mandarin. I think it's easy Chinese or easy Mandarin. The two. It's a whole series of YouTube channels: easy German, easy Italian, easy French, easy. Insert the language; it probably exists for those guys. And they have a very beginner series, and they also have like a kind of more intermediate series, but it's all in the native language with natives. So it's just like man on the street interviews, but they're talking about very basic, like, oh, what's your favorite food? Oh, do you like eggs? Oh, okay. So what about pork? They just do very simple things, and it has the native subtitles and English subtitles in every single video. So, and they also do that in podcast format. There are plenty of ways like that. So, finding ways to more passively learn language, if you have the time, if you can listen to that stuff while you're at work, while you're working out, while you're commuting, something like that, that would be a good way to kind of make the most of the time that you do have if your goal, like depending on how dedicated you are or how much you want to dedicate rather to learning the language. Um, Mango, and again, I'm not sponsored by these guys. Mango Languages is another good app that I would honestly recommend. It's kind of like a structured audio phrasebook slash audio course. They do break down grammar, and each lesson module they break down a conversation. So they'll give you the whole thing up front, and at first you might be like, "Wow, I don't understand any of that." But then they break it down piece by piece very clearly and give you grammar background and cultural insights. It's a wonderful app. It is paid, I'm pretty sure, so you do have to pay for Mango. But if you can and you want to, and you'd rather do audio, instead of worrying about video or just that other type of context where there is some English, Mango is another one. Oh, oop, so I'm putting my face over the chat so I can see. Do that. Again, thank you. I like to think so myself, but also I also try to be humble. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's funny too because I've also noticed that, and this has been I've read this has been found elsewhere. People that know multiple languages sometimes, like, yes, they have a higher than usual understanding of their own native language by grammar and by vocabulary, but because they know so many words in other languages, sometimes they kind of have a hard time thinking of it in one language or another, including their native language. So it's kind of funny in my view. Um, what other three languages do you speak though? That's again, that's really impressive. That's good. That's awesome. And while you're checking that out, you were Pardon me having to get so close. I'm on my phone right now. Adil Roxay, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. I'm learning Mandarin for a variety of reasons. I did mention this earlier, but perhaps you weren't here for that. That's fine. Um, when I learn other languages, typically at this point, I like to learn the cultures of I guess, target country and their history as well. So a lot of it's around reading for me, reading their big novels, their big works of literature and history. So like Hua Mulan and the Remnants of the Three Kingdoms for Chinese. Those are like my two big goals: is to read and fully understand those two words. Probably also the art of word, but maybe I'll get there. Speaking to me at this point is kind of secondary, but I do like to do it because it is like when I tell somebody I speak German, they're like, "Oh, say something in German." So like, it's nice to know some things so that I can like, okay, yeah, I speak it. It's fine. Like I get it. Um, but a lot of what motivated me to learn Mandarin was understanding modern Chinese culture and appreciating their historic literature. And again, that's kind of what drives me to learn any language that I take seriously at this point is modern culture and historic literature. Mandarin, though, I do have the additional drive because I write books as well, and I'm writing out fiction. And in my current fiction that I'm doing that I'm working on, it's military fiction, and I think it'd be useful for me to know some Chinese so that I can kind of do some better research and maybe make it a little bit believable. All right, I've got a couple minutes left and then I have to go out and run some errands. So, you got any burning questions? I mean, I'll be back at some point. It's like I'll be here again. It's fine. And also, like, you can just comment on any of the videos. Like, you can still reach me. It's fine. It's fine. But I do got to go here in a couple minutes. All right, I'm gonna get ready to go run my errands, but I'm gonna try to be doing this. I'm hoping to do this once per week, where I just have live kind of study sessions and Q&As. I'm hoping to get back into posting more videos around general language learning, but also targeted language learning, like videos, not only live streams, but I've got stuff planned for German, French, and Spanish. Mandarin's really tricky because I need to learn more, but also the tones. It's really, really important to get those tones right. But I want to be doing this more, and I hope you enjoyed this too. If you did, check out my channel. I'm on YouTube and on Rumble. I hope you find more stuff there that you like. And whether you do or you don't, I will be here for the next stream, and maybe you'll be here for the next one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you then. Bye.